This movie review is literally brought to you by surprise marketing campaigns because they released the trailer and the release date of the movie the day it came out.
Kiss them. Hold them for as long as you can. That's all there is.
The Cloverfield Paradox is the third movie in the Cloverfield franchise after the Cloverfield and 10 Cloverfield Lane, and basically I'm not going to reveal any of the plot because, you know, it was a 30-second ad for the movie in the Super Bowl and it was the release the day the movie came out, so people knew literally nothing about it other than there's a bunch of scientists on a space station and it's a Cloverfield movie. I'm very split about the Cloverfield Paradox. The first half I think is really good. It's a really interesting setup for the sci-fi, like for a sci-fi movie, and I think it works out really well. The performances in the first half are brilliant. Everything seems to make a lot of sense. You get a lot of answers for what happens in the first half of the movie at the very least. It's just something that I could say you could compare in quality to the original Cloverfield and 10 Cloverfield Lane in how good the first half is. It's great. The problem I have with Cloverfield Paradox is the second half of the movie, where things seem to happen for no apparent reason, like, even though they establish that, oh, this stuff is happening because logic doesn't apply here. But still, it just happens because it does. I feel like that's an excuse to go nuts on what you want to happen. And whilst the movie does seem to back up its choice in this, I don't really like it. As well as I found the second half of the movie incredibly predictable. Like, as soon as you watch the entirety of the setup, you know pretty much the entire payoff. That being said, for like a reported $40 million budget, the CGI quality looks really good, and I was impressed on how well they were able to do the space stuff. And I do like several of the subplots, one of which takes place back on Earth, and that was a really intriguing subplot. Maybe probably more intriguing than the original, than the primary one itself. And I wish they spent more time on that. But like all Cloverfield movies, this movie doesn't exactly, unless you have a sort of wrap up of the main storyline, there's a cliffhanger and you end up with a lot more questions because there are just needless amounts of questions that need to be answered that aren't in the second half of the movie. And whilst I might say this is the worst of the Cloverfield trilogy, I don't think it's a bad movie by any stretch. I think it's good. It's just that the second half of the movie just raises more questions than it answers, and it just made me feel like really confused coming out of it, still trying to piece together what exactly went down. But the performances all around from Mbatha-Raw, she is fantastic in the lead as the protagonist. Chris O'Dowd was really good. He showed a little bit more dramatic, but he was still the comedic relief, and I think that works well for a Chris O'Dowd role. Sean Ortiz was good. David Oyelowo was great. Daniel Bruhl was really good. I was a little bit let down with Elizabeth Debicki's performance because it just feels like she's putting on the same voice every time, and she was just kind of very mellow and neutral, and it looked like she was just going through the motions for a little bit. Julius Onah's direction is decent. I do think he can improve, and he's shown in the first half of the movie that he is pretty good. So I would be interested in what he does next. I haven't seen any of the stuff that he's done before. I don't know if it is his first role or not. But the Cloverfield Paradox, I don't know whether it's in complete surprise, literally a surprise, and it's a really well done sci-fi thriller. And I do sort of wish though that this movie came out in cinemas like it was supposed to on the 2nd of Feb, or on the 20th of April. I will say that the Cloverfield Paradox is one and done. Have you seen the Cloverfield Paradox, or what did you think of it? I mean, it's Cloverfield, so if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe and comment on the Platypus, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Oh wow, you made it to the end of the video. Good job. Click that subscribe button over there for more good content, or click one of these two videos down below, which is probably one of my most recent ones, probably. I mean, you know, just click either one of them. Either one's really good enough.